0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
Touchdown, Oregon. Byron Cardwell. That was quick.
We have to push ourselves to be the best that we want to be.
Pressured, steps up, goes down. Sack Brandon Dorless.
We think iron sharpens iron, right? You want to create that competitive environment. You have to do things that are hard.
Way down for Thornton. He's got it. He's going to score. What a stop by Oregon's Noah Sewell. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. Terrence Ferguson.
I'm excited about the energy that our coaches bring and the energy our players bring day in and day out.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Ducks football.
Hey, welcome to a Wednesday night. Getting ready for a road trip to Washington State, coming off an impressive win over BYU last Saturday here at Autzen Stadium. I'm Jerry Allen. Jorgie here. Joey Mack coming on a little later, and we've got the head coach with us for our Pepsi and, we'll just call it our interview session where he tells us all. Head coach Dan Lanning, you're going to tell us all, aren't you?
All? I don't know about all. We could talk.
Okay, we'll get a few bits of information from you. Congratulations. That was, I'm going to call it an impressive win because that was against a ranked team that came in with some power.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for our players. Certainly an awesome atmosphere out there and an enjoyable performance of our guys.
Team win. I mean,
definitely a team win.
Offense, defense, special teams, making key field goals at key times. Feeding off of each other. It was great to see that.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about before the game is, when we have some success, I'm looking for guys to celebrate with their teammates, and I think you see some of that in the game. We talked a lot about playing without the ball. What do you look like when you're not touching the ball? And I think that showed up. And all that really carried over to some success on Saturday.
As you broke down that game and you looked at it, the review of it, what was your analysis, your evaluation of your team? There was a lot to like, but I'm sure there are things you want cleaned up.
Yeah, still not there yet. A lot of growth moments, places where we can get better. That being said, happy with where we were at in week 3 and looking for us to continue to take strides in week 4 and so on.
It's amazing to me how, again, 2 weeks in a row, how fast you started defensively and offensively. I mean, BYU hit an early play to get down the field on the first drive. Defense responded, offense right down the field and scored, and got the ball back for them right down the field and scored. And even when BYU made it 10-7, your offense answered. So just that fast start again in your second home game in a row was really important, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's big. I think that's credit to our players being able to go out there and execute, and credit to our coaches having a good plan for them to go execute. So responded to adversity when we saw in the game. Didn't see a ton of it, but when we did, we responded to it, and they played well.
Did you feel that early on? I mean, even when the team was warming up, do you ever have the feel, I guess, before a game, whether it was the trip to Atlanta or the 2 here, what that first series or 2 is going to play out like, or is it tough to kind of see in the guy's
It's hard
eyes?
to gauge. It's hard to gauge. I think I'll say this, you generally can see guys in the locker room and have a feel for, hey, how's this guy going to perform? But as far as overall performance, I don't know if you ever really know.
Offensively, your team clicked so well in that first quarter, in the first half. I'm curious, do you guys script out like a number of plays to start the game? I know a lot of NFL teams do, some colleges do. How do you handle that?
Yeah, we have a series of openers that we'll carry, but, we can quickly get off a script based on situation and what that looks like. So our offensive staff does a great job, Coach Dillingham and the entire staff do a great job of really planning that out, and we work those throughout the week. And then let them carry over to the game. But it's not always an exact sequence of events. It's just, hey, here's some plays we want to hit early in the game.
Nothing like a big play offensively to really get things kick-started. And, again, swing pass, but 2 blocks that look like at least on the outside, and the receivers' blocks. And those blocks downfield are the biggest key to some of those huge plays, aren't they?
Yeah, huge. I mean, I think you see that, like you said, the very first play of the game, we get the ball out on the perimeter, Chris, and there's guys out there fighting for extra yards for him. And then you can see the explosive plays and how that carries over to the tempo you can carry the rest of the game.
Your offense, obviously, we'll talk about them, but I thought your defense kind of set the tone of this game. Right away, they say, we're going to go on defense. We're going to stop BYU. BYU got throttled, and the offense fed off. The defense was the opener in this game.
Yeah, we deferred. We feel like that's an opportunity to potentially get an extra possession early in the game, or at least in the first half. And if you actually look at it as that game plays out, we're able to finish with, possession of the ball there in the first half and go score, and then turn around and get possession again in the second half. So, again, that's the purpose there and the thought process behind it. But certainly our offense and defense and special teams all fed off of each other on Saturday.
Almost felt like, I was talking to Jerry about it before you came in, almost felt like a 3-for-1. I mentioned to you after the game a 2-for-1, but BYU got the ball after you scored 2 consecutive possessions, stop them on 4th down, short field, felt like a turnover.
Right.
Boom, right in the end zone.
Yeah, and they were able to execute. I think we managed the end of that half really well from a time standpoint, not leaving time on the clock. For our opponent and took advantage.
I want to look at, some guys and say this guy was the star, this guy stood out, this guy did that. Bo Nix managed the offense really, really well, but the offense didn't let him get sacked. Your running backs are averaging 5 yards a come in. Everybody complimented each other on that offensive set, in that first half particularly.
Yeah, I think when you have balance, you have an offensive line that's performing the way that those guys are performing and clicking. You have running backs that can go out there and execute and hit big runs and then fight for extra yards. And you have the ability to place the ball in the hands of your wideouts and them take advantage of opportunities down the field as well. It's hard to pick one thing to stop us at. And you even saw a mix of some shots downfield, in this past game. And that really all plays in hand to hand. When you have a good running game, it sets up your passing game. When you do well in the passing game, it creates more opportunities to run. So I think that was shown in the last game.
I think one of the things that we really enjoyed, and I'm sure you guys do as a coaching staff too, is just the physical aspect of what you did in this game along the line of scrimmage, defensively and offensively, moving the line of scrimmage offensively, really controlling it, making them one-dimensional. It's an identity that a team can take on if that continues.
Yeah, we felt like, all we wanted to do is recreate our team run period in Tuesday's practice, right? That's what we wanted to play out on the field on Saturday. And we said going into the game, the most physical team's going to win, and we wanted to make sure we were the most physical team. I think our guys really embraced that.
On both sides of the ball, defense and offense, the trenches, you own both sides, and that really kind of put BYU, the team you were playing on Saturday, kind of pushed them back a little bit. Didn't let them do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's certainly our goal. Don't let them do what they want to do, and I think that showed up.
Balance, sometimes I feel like balance is overrated, and yet balance really sets up. When you can run the ball, you can throw it generally. BYU became one-dimensional because you stopped the run, and yet, I've seen teams run for 50 and throw for 450 and win the game. But your thoughts on that?
I mean, I love balance when it fits. I also think there's times as a coach, if they're doing something that's taking something away from you, particularly offensively, that you have to be able to do the other. And if that means – Tony Dungy came and spoke to our team this year, and he actually spoke of some sacrifice moments that players had on his team, but he mentioned the time that Edgerrin James had to pass protect 22 plays in a row to start a game because the defense was really blitzing a lot of exotic blitz. The run pressures, the runs weren't really there, and it was a game they were going to have to be able to pass it. And I think balance is a great thing to say. You want to have balance offensively, but if a team's taking away something that you do, you got to be able to have a response. And at some point we might face that to where we have to go into a game and we run it 57 times, right? Or you go into a game and you pass it 50 times. Ultimately, we would love to have it. If we have it our way, we'd love to be able to be really balanced in our attack.
Makes me think of adjustments that during a game we see timeouts called, or at halftime, there's halftime adjustments. What are those like? I mean, you can't go into details and tell us what you're doing, but what's going on when a timeout is called because something's not going right? How are adjustments done? I mean, I'm trying to visualize what you guys are saying to your team down on the field, be it offense or defense.
Yeah, you're just talking a lot about the same situational football we create in practice. We detail every single play, throughout the game. I think a lot of people might feel like you just go back and watch the film afterwards to say what's going on. we're drawing up plays on the sideline as they happen, and we're able to really play back into what just happened in the last series, the last play. If you're going into a certain situation, a third down, you're probably talking about what kind of routes you might get. Offensively, you're talking about what kind of pressures they've shown in that situation. But really just trying to coach your players up for what you've already shown them in practice and during the week.
Do your players come off the field after a set and tell you, Coach, I got this guy, or this situation's going on? Are they helping you coach during the game?
Yeah, we ask for information. You want to make sure you're getting good information. So usually we have a check system where we can make sure that we're getting accurate information. But yeah, there's certainly a combination of that.
All right, he is head coach Dan Lanning. We got a lot more to talk about. Washington State straight ahead. We'll find out a little bit about them as well. I'm Jerry Allen with Jorgie. It's our coaches interview, and it's brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. And we're back with more on the show after this in the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes! So much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, Wednesday Night Coaches Show. I'm Jerry Allen with Jorgie, head coach Dan Lanning with us, brought to you by Pepsi, locally owned Bigfoot Beverages, talking about Oregon in the last game. It's hard to not look back because it was kind of a lot of fun. 41-20 against a ranked quality program at BYU, but you got to look ahead. But before we do, you were going to ask him, or one of us going to when Shout was on and trying to.
Yeah, it's a different experience.
So it's got to be one of those. Wow, this is awesome. Oh no, they can't hear me. I mean,
or focus. I mean, it's one of those ones where it's tough.
It's a challenge, and I think I said this before, but we went out and we didn't go execute the third down that came up right after Shout. So we had 3rd and 12 right after that. We didn't perform the way we need to go perform. So it's something I'm going to continue to learn how to coach through. We're going to do a better job of managing that. But that's what makes this place really special.
Yeah.
It's a fun event for our players. I know they enjoy it and certainly enjoy it when they have great fans to make that such a fun experience.
I've never seen, I'm joking about this when I say it, Coach, but I've never seen the situation chart say on 4th and 1 from your own 30, leading 17-7 in the second quarter to go for it. What a gutsy call, and without, again, wanting to say what's the decision-making goes into it without sharing. What's the decision-making that you can share?
I'll just say, we made that decision before we ever got into the game. We knew certain situations that we felt strong. This is going to be successful. We felt good about the play we had and what look we were going to get, and want to go out there and execute. And if it works, it's cool. And If it doesn't work, we're probably talking about something else right now, right? But we felt strong it was going to work and our players were going to execute, and it did.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on fourth down conversions and 0 for 4. I mean, it's just amazing what the difference was in how Oregon's conversions led generally to touchdowns. Yeah. And for BYU, it almost was like a turnover, so important.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a team on fourth down, you stop them and you continue to stop them, a little demoralizing. But it saves you from taking a punt inside your 20, 10, or 5-yard line. So it's almost like flipping the field, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. It's like you said, it's like a turnover. It's like a big return. Yeah, we knew that they were a team that's pretty aggressive at times. On fourth down, we felt like we could maybe take advantage of the same thing on our end, and we wanted to do a good job of stopping them. And if we had an opportunity that we felt strong about, take advantage of ours.
You get another quarterback that moves pretty well. I mean, you've had week after week after week after week of quarterbacks. So I guess the last 3 has prepared you for Game 4, and yet what Washington State does up there in the Palouse, and you've been there before when you were at Arizona State, you still have to worry about that piece where a quarterback can move and can hurt you with your legs like Cam Ward does.
Yeah, Cam is certainly as good as any of them when it comes to moving. He certainly moves looking for the opportunity to throw. I think his release is what's maybe most impressive to me. He gets the ball out really quick and throw it from a lot of different arm angles. We've said in our staff room that he's similar to a baseball player, a shortstop turning two, getting the ball out. So does a really good job. We have to be aware of where he's at all times and do a good job covering down the field.
Bo Nix is going to be our guest later on tonight. I think somebody asked you this Sunday or Monday evening how you felt about him running with the ball and taking that collision to try to get the first down. And I thought your answer was sort of interesting, man. You like the gutsiness of the player, the leadership, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your quarterback to take unnecessary hits. That being said, you like a winner, right? And you like a guy that wants to go out there and get a first down, and Bo's that. He wanted to go out there and get a first down. I'm sure there's some times that I'll be, cautioning him not to do that. But in that moment, I appreciated his toughness and wanted to go after that.
Kind of shows leadership, doesn't it? I mean, it tells the team, hey, I'm one of you guys.
Yeah, he is one of those guys, right? He is one of the guys on the team, and I don't think he sees himself in any other difference, than those guys. You want to go compete and you want to show a level of toughness, and I think he did that in that play.
We'll get a chance to talk about Washington State and their defense and the way it's performed so far this year, but Brandon Dorlus obviously stepping forward, and he's been recognized this week, but a tremendous game, and it's nice to see that guy who's played hard already in the first 2 games, then all of a sudden have stats to back it up and some shock plays type of deal, the fourth down stop in the backfield and some other things too.
Yeah, I think Brandon would probably tell you that last week was his best week of practice as well, and it's great when those moments get to carry over to the game. Brandon works tremendously hard for us. He cares. He's a really passionate player, and he's certainly very talented. So seeing it all come together for him, I know everybody in our organization was excited about that.
You're getting ready for Washington State. Coach Dickert, you both defensive coordinators turned head coaches. Have you guys run across each other, played with or coached around each other before?
No, we haven't played with or around each other before, but certainly have an appreciation for him and his path, to Washington State. He's, a small school guy, kind of like me. He's kind of worked his way up the coaching ranks. Certainly had a lot of success and does a really good job. They're exotic on defense. They show some really different things. They present stuff in a different way, create a lot of negative plays with their approach. But I have a lot of respect for the job that he's done there at Washington State and the way they play.
Yeah, that's one of the things that can put you behind the chains real quick with, I think we looked at it, was it 30 tackles for loss? Is that what it was? 14 sacks. Like yeah, obviously you guys haven't given up any, but sometimes those big plays can make negative plays, but sometimes those exotic things can also spring you for a big play. They haven't given up those big plays yet, but there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job of when and when not, right? And how, where the weaknesses of a defense and doing a good job overlapping that. But that's certainly what you want to do, is you want to be able to take advantage of some teams that are going to work some of those exotics. We have to figure out what way we can do that.
So you get in a game like this that could become defensive. You never know. Sometimes those defensive games become wild and when you least expect it to. But turnovers, little things like that, field position are a big part of a game like that.
Huge. This game's going to be about explosive plays and takeaways. I think I say it every week, but the reality is those are the 2 biggest factors right now when it comes to a relation to wins and losses in college football is takeaways and explosive plays.
Was there anything in particular they did against Wisconsin? I'm sure you've looked at that sticks out at you and goes, hey, this is why these guys are dangerous?
Well, they took the ball away, like we mentioned. They did that in the red area and did a good job of creating turnovers. They certainly attacked the ball, and I thought they were really dynamic in their screen game. The very first play of the game, they take a big, huge play, for a screen all the way. But they were presented some short fields with special teams play, and they just played really complimentary football and kept themselves in the game the entire time.
Not very often we go to the Palouse, and it seems like we're playing a midday game. It tends to be a late afternoon or nighttime game. Happy it's 1 o'clock? Does it matter to you? You just build around it.
I just want the ball out on the turf and let's play. Turf or grass, right? Like last week we played a little bit earlier. Eggs, breakfast, and go whoop ass. That's our plan. And that's the plan. That's the plan every week, right? Yeah. So whenever you put us out there in between the lights, let's play.
Yep. All right, you guys are both come from the defensive side of the ball, defensive coordinators. Both of you want this to be a 0-0 tie. I mean,
no, that's not what I want.
Okay, you take 1-0.
I mean, I want to win, no doubt. I want to win, but no, we want to go score some points. Yeah, we want to go score some points in this game. Yeah, I can certainly appreciate a great defensive performance, but we have a goal to go win games, and we're trying to win them a certain way, and that's doing the best that Oregon can do. And if that was the score of the game, then there were some things we had to go work on.
I thought Bo Nix had stepped in here. He was going to kick your butt if you said that. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
I'm just hearing a defensive guy say it's kind of fun scoring points.
Absolutely,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we like scoring touchdowns. That's what we want to do.
So. I love it. All right, how does your team focus, or do they focus differently for a road game than a home game?
No, it's another game. There's certainly some different preparation that goes into it when you go to bed, the travel piece. But no, the prep at the end of the day is very similar. It's about the process.
Always a great place to play a football game too, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the Palouse.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, we're going to let you go, get out of here. Bo Nix is going to come in a few minutes. We'll find out all about you from him. You didn't tell us a whole lot about Bo. Anything we need to know about Bo before you get
He's a great one. Let me think. Ask Bo about his trip he took this summer. He got some pretty pictures this summer on a trip from he got married this summer. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
Got married this summer, and his honeymoon looked pretty amazing. I had to text Bo. I was like, where is that? Where are you at? That's looks expensive, man. I want to go visit. So,
all right. We'll get the dirt on it.
Get the dirt. See if you can figure out what hotel it was.
Okay.
See if we can.
We got you.
Maybe he'll want to go on a trip again next summer. So.
We got you.
Y'all have a good one.
Coach Dan Lanning, thanks for being in, Coach. We're coming back with Joey and Bo Nix after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots.
And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We are back inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. It's the Toyota Coaches Show, and now Bo Nix is here, ladies and gentlemen. So we were just talking during the break. So the coolest thing that you've gotten to do in the media world so far is you got to go on with Scott Van Pelt your freshman year. I'm really going to apologize to you right now. I am not Scott Van Pelt. I will effort to be as cool as him, but I probably won't be, so I hope that's okay.
That's just fine.
All right. Do you remember when you went on with SVP?
I do, and I don't think y'all want me to say.
See, I knew it. I was just going to say, because Duck fans got the chance to see how good you were firsthand when you were playing against Oregon. So I think on behalf of all Duck fans everywhere, we're glad now that you're playing on.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
On the green side of things. Hey, so Coach just said that I have to ask you about this summer trip. Pretty special moment for you getting married. What was that like? Tell us about it. And you don't have to share everything that he wanted you to.
Yeah. Well, obviously it was an awesome day, really unique wedding. Her parents were great, setting it all up. Her mom and my mom, they really went all in on the whole wedding thing, and you know how girls are with the venue and all that kind of stuff. So it was a great day, a beautiful ceremony. Everybody that we wanted to be there was fortunately there, and obviously getting over here, I was worried about the whole honeymoon thing, if I was going to be able to do it. And Coach Lanning and Coach Dillingham, they were great with it. They knew that that was going to be a thing, and so they allowed me to go, and so I'm real thankful for that. But, yeah, we got to go spend some time in Mexico, and so Coach Lanning did text and ask, so that was a true story. But, yeah, he'll probably be going sometime soon.
I get it. All right, so one of the things that I do anytime someone comes into the studio for the first time, I ask them for their 2-minute life story. You just said a little bit of it right there. The reason I do that is twofold. One, people always say they have a really hard time talking about themselves, but the truth is sometimes it makes people more comfortable. Also, two, I could sit here and ask you so many questions about what I've read about you, what I've observed about you, but it's your story. It's your life, and so I think it's always really interesting to see what people bring up. Now, because I know you're very competitive, I want you to know there is a leaderboard. We keep track of how close everybody gets to 2 minutes on the nose, and I'm going to time you. Are you ready?
Yeah, who's the leader?
His name is Dave Butler. He was a former volleyball assistant coach here. He did it in 1:59.56 seconds.
Wow, he was counting.
He may have been. I can neither confirm nor deny.
So you get penalties for going under?
We just time it, and however close you get.
I got you.
We don't do Price is Right rules, if that's what you mean.
All right,
if you
ready?
go over, you're all right.
You ready?
Okay, ready? Go.
So my dad was a coach growing up. Obviously, he started in college, then went to high school. And so he went to high school when I was in the 7th grade, so I got to be around him a little bit more. But before then, when he was in college, we moved around quite a bit. And so I was born in Arkansas, moved around a lot throughout the South. He coached at places like Miami and Georgia Tech. And so growing up, I understood what it was like to move around a lot. And so I got to make friends with a lot of different people, and that was a unique experience. And so me and my family, we understand what it's like to move around. We understand what it's like to be the new guys in the school. And so moving out here, with all that being said, moving out here wasn't too difficult. But I was all about football growing up. Obviously, Dad being a coach and being around the sport, it just kind of made me do the same thing. And so when I was little, I just wanted to play quarterback at Auburn. And so when I got that opportunity back in 2019 coming out of high school, it was just kind of a dream come true. And then obviously when I got to Auburn, it was awesome, but then things started kind of like reality started setting in. And obviously you can't have everything you want. But it was a great journey. The 3 years at Auburn was awesome. You know, I got met my wife there, met Izzy, and so obviously things went how they were supposed to go. And then that journey led me here to Eugene, and so I've been really fortunate to be around great teammates so far, great coaches, and great hospitality here.
Minute 40.49. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I've had some, you'll like this. I've had some that are like 5 minutes. And then I've had others that are like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I say well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was good.
I wasn't sure there at the end how far I was going. I felt like I was rambling.
Well, it's like a play clock, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
a long
kind of
play
thinking.
clock, yep.
Do you always know, like, do you really always know when it's like 2, 1? As a quarterback, I feel like you guys must just have this, like, internal
sometimes,
clock.
yeah. Like when you're at home, you know, because the fans start getting super loud and like you're freaking out, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. Let me check the clock, and then see it like be at 10, and I'm like, oh, I got loads of time. But yeah, those some stadiums are tricky to find the clock, and obviously that's a huge part of the game because you don't want to delay games that can kill drives. But yeah, the clock, you're always just going. I'll tell you a quick Coach Lanning story, because I know y'all were talking about it earlier. At practice one day, I think it was during the fall, we were going and something was miscommunicated or something. We were trying to get lined up, and I hear him from behind. He's like, there's a play clock, right? I'm like, yes, sir, I do. But I obviously didn't say that because we were still trying to get the play started. But he's he enjoys comments like that. He's just very kind of sarcastic, and so that's what I enjoy about him.
He's got that subtle humor, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
And very he's one of those guys you don't all the time know if he's like funny or serious, so you got to be serious all the time.
I get that. We, talking with him like we do, we get that. Did he say that comment on the microphone at practice?
No, I think it was just from behind.
So then
like,
it was
hey,
really
Bo, there's a play clock.
Because I've noticed he's very selective at practice when he gets on that microphone, right? You guys have noticed.
Yeah, I think sometimes he forgets he has it in his hand, and so he'll be talking and he'll just throw it up real quick and say what he was saying again.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you got to be careful. He'll get onto you over the mic, and the whole entire city knows that you messed up.
I hear that. Bo, I'm curious because you said that you were comfortable with moving around a lot. What made you successful as a young man in order to do that? And maybe a better way to ask that question might be, what advice do you give people that do move around a lot? How are you successful?
Well, that's a great question. I think my parents did a great job of instilling confidence and awareness growing up, to where I was comfortable in who I was. I feel like growing up I was always the different guy, the one that stood out for different reasons, and not for anything that's unusual. It's just he's moved around a lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends, and that was true. Moving around a lot, you didn't have a middle school to where you had gone elementary school with everybody, so it was making friends 6 months to a year in a move, and that was always difficult. So it was a lot of time by myself, spent a lot of time with my family. So because of that, you had to be confident and kind of comfortable with who you were and the type of situation that you were in. And sometimes I was obviously growing up with growing pains a little kind of too confident, and maybe had to back it up and back off just a little bit and understand some humility. But that was all about growing up.
Your family's pretty important to you. I can just tell hearing you talk right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
They always have been, and I think it just goes back. We were such a close family, me and my siblings and I, because that's all. We just went home and we were always together. When we moved, we weren't around grandparents, weren't around cousins, so we went home to each other, and that's kind of the closest family we had until it was Christmas time.
Yeah. Competitive household?
Probably too competitive.
I get
to
that.
be honest with you. It stems from my father. Too competitive at times.
Yeah.
Extremely competitive. My mama act like she's not, but if it's something that she cares about, she's extremely competitive. We've had plenty of family dilemmas, family fights that didn't last long, but from top to bottom, my little sister, you could say she's just as competitive as anybody else. So yeah, extremely competitive.
Who's the best athlete?
Can I go second best?
Sure.
All right. I'll say my little brother's switched positions and he's playing at Clemson right now.
Yeah.
So I have to give my respects to him. But then obviously Dad, we got it from somewhere.
Right.
And I love her, but I don't think it was my mom. But yeah, we're an athletic family, but I think it kind of comes from just working hard and being smart, knowledgeable of the like sport that we're doing.
The gene pool only takes you so far. I mean, right?
Absolutely.
Like, otherwise, there'd be we would all know who the best athletes are all the time, just based on that. Like, you just look at them like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get that. All right, we're gonna get timeout. We're gonna come back. I got to ask you about scoring 5 touchdowns in back-to-back games. That's a cool football stat that we're gonna get to. More with Bo Nix coming up. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
The ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on the Toyota Coaches Show in the Country Financial Studio, Joey Mack joined by Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. Talked about your career days scoring touchdowns. Are you more proud of a passing touchdown or of a rushing touchdown?
That's a good question. It kind of depends of the situation. You know, if it's a 1-yard running touchdown versus a 50-yard passing, I'd probably take the passing. But if it's a longer rushing touchdown, then those don't come by very easily. So it kind of depends on the situation. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick touchdown pass.
What's the longest rushing touchdown you've scored in your career? Do you know?
Like high school included?
Anything. This could be in Pop Warner.
I believe I scored a 75-yarder coming like first play of a drive from a touchback in high school. That was the farthest my junior year. But I don't know exactly the number.
Well, 75 sounds good.
I think it was 75, but it might have been like 65. I can't remember.
I like 75 better.
I do too. 75 sounds pretty cool.
I think 75's a good number. Well, what's been clicking for you here the last couple weeks? I mean, we talk about 5 touchdown performances. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier. 3-time National Player of the Week from different outlets this week. That's you. Do you keep track of that? Like when that comes out, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, sir. It's cool just because of they acknowledged it, so that's really cool, and I really appreciate it. But I don't try to look it up or anything like that. If it's told to me by somebody, then that's really, really neat, and I appreciate it. But I don't necessarily keep up with it just specifically. But I think, just for starters, you can thank Terrence Ferguson for 4 of those. But it's just. I could say that about all my teammates. My O-line is playing really well right now together, collectively, keeping me upright, and that's where it starts at quarterback. And then we're able to run the ball with good efficiency right now, especially in the last 2 games. and all you can contribute. Like I feel like the few weeks ago I might have had 5, but 2 or 3 of them didn't even cross the line of scrimmage. So whoever was catching it was doing all the work, and that's a lot. Unfortunately and fortunately, depends who you are. The quarterback gets credit for that kind of stuff, but it's like just as much on them as it is me. I mean, the little 10-yard screen pass that went for 20. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot for that one.
Just put it where it needed to be, though.
That's right,
You know?
and that can be difficult at times. But again, it just all goes back to them, and I think collectively as a unit we're doing really well on offense and moving the ball at a good rate.
I have a theory that I'm curious for your thoughts on, because you were talking with the media last week about how, fans always want the deep ball. Everybody wants the deep ball. Quarterback wants the deep ball. Wide receiver wants the deep ball. Yeah, everybody loves the deep ball.
I throw it deep every play.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily have the option to do that because the defense is doing something. They're defending. So I have a theory that fans always want the deep ball, particularly in today's age of college football and football in general, because when we're watching on TV, it's more zoomed in than what you guys see with an all-22 man. So you don't necessarily see the wide receiver's route develop. You don't see how the coverage is downfield. And I feel like it's contributed to everybody, myself included, being like, well, just throw it deep, Bo. Just throw it deep. Do you feel that way? Like the defenses are doing a lot of things that can make your life really hard.
Yeah, of course. I feel like they the other team, if you're a fan of the other team, they're like, well, don't let them throw it deep. So it's like again, it just goes back to football and scheme, and I think looking at it from the TV, it looks like it's all boxed in. There's like a billion guys in the box, and you're like, well, why keep running it up the middle and all that kind of stuff? But coaches get paid to coach, and they know what they're doing, and most of them, when you're on like the highest level, especially our coaches, they do a great job of it. So, it's fans, but you gotta love it, because every once in a while they they hear it and you're like, all right, let's throw it deep.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and a guy got open and you hit him deep. So
exactly.
Where do your eyes go when you watch yourself back on film? Are you looking at the line of scrimmage first? Are you looking at route developments? What do you look at?
Everything. I look at all 22 people, where the ball ended up, where the ball was supposed to go. A lot of different things. This is a great story too. I used to get so mad watching video of my dad when I was little, because we'd sit there and watch the same play 10 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, can you finish the play? I want to see where it ended up. Yeah. I didn't understand what he was doing at the time. But he was going through just watching the top, watching the receiver and corner, watching the box, watching the quarterback, watching the safeties, watching the linebackers, watching the other receivers. It takes a few different times. And at times you watch the same guy over and over. So it used to make me so mad, but now I probably rewind it 20 times. I'm probably worse.
Yeah. Well, and in this day and age, it's a little easier to rewind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch it over and over again. I was curious, too, about this, Bo. You have done so many of these in your career. You're such a poised guy. The quarterback always gets asked to do a lot of interviews. What do you wish someone like me asked more often?
Wow. That's a very, very unique and interesting question. I think, just me personally, since I am the guy that's asked, I think being asked about teammates and strides in those areas and coaches and all that kind of, being asked about guys on your team that are doing well, I think that's pretty cool, because it gives you a chance to talk about them.
So I'm going to tell a quick inside story, if you don't mind, and I don't know if you even know this. So in the locker room, where we do our post-game interviews, it's just around the corner from the locker room. And so when players like Bo come around the corner and they talk with Nate Kruger and the entire sports information staff about, hey, you're going to do an interview. You ready for this? And some players are like, yeah, I got this. Other players are like, oh, I don't know. It wasn't a great day for me. Then there's players like Bo. And this is a true story from, I think, last week. You come around the corner and Bo asks Nate, hey, who did well? What should I talk about? What are the storylines? I'm telling you right now, not everybody does that. Not everybody thinks that way. And the fact that you wish that someone like me asked you more about your teammates, fans, that says a lot about this young man right here.
Well, I always feel like there's something that I don't know that I need to know. And I've felt it more kind of in the past few weeks because first time being around Oregon, first time being like at a game day, like what am I missing? Like I feel so out of place. So I got to ask the veteran guys and the guys that have been here. And, every once in a while it's good to ask those questions because there might be an important stat in the game that I'm not aware of, but like so-and-so made this many tackles.
Yep.
All right, that definitely needs to be talked about over the 3 completions I had on one drive or whatever. So it's like I feel like people – and it's fun to talk about your teammates because, like you said, they may not feel comfortable getting up here and talking about it. Right. So they may be doing something really well that's not being heard by the media and it's not talked about because they don't necessarily like to talk about it, and which is fine.
We don't know what we don't know.
That's exactly right. That's a true statement.
Yeah, that's the truth. Bo, I could talk to you for at least another hour, but I'm going to leave you with this. Keys to success, what's it going to take to get a win at Washington State?
Well, many things, to be honest with you. It starts with taking care of the football. When we have it, we need to hold on to it and make sure we just end every drive with a kick, whether that's a punt or a field goal, extra point, whatever that may be. And then it's just all about controlling the line of scrimmage. When we have our most success, we're able to run the ball. And so when we're able to run the ball, we can throw it deep, we can take some shots, we can get our guys out in space. And then it's just all about the front 7, controlling that. And then at the end of the day, as we've seen the past few weeks, we can score at a high rate. We can score really well. We have a great scheme, great coaches that put us in great situations. So it's all up to us just to take care of what we're supposed to do. No penalties. Don't kill ourselves. Don't shoot ourselves in the foot. And everything else will kind of take care of itself. We know it's going to be a hostile crowd. We know they're going to be really good. Kind of their motors are going to be high for this one, and it should, because ours should be high too. So this should be a fun football game, a very good competition game, a lot of fun plays. It could go both ways, but like you said, the keys to it is just owning the ball and not like killing ourselves, not having too many turnovers, self-inflicted wounds.
Play duck football. Bo?
That's right.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We're going to get a timeout. Come back. Jerry and Jorgie back with us, and Washington State Pac-12 football is here, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccU.org/remarkable.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
More Jerry, Jorgie, and Joey after this timeout. You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry Allen, Jorgie, Joy Mack, all three of us together. Who's leading picks, by the way? I was going to ask you that. Oh, okay.
You are.
I am?
Hey, can I just say...
Is it only because I took North Dakota State?
Quickly, huh?
No, it's because you and I both took North Dakota State. I know we have a quick segment because Bo was so good, and so we're a little bit behind. But I just want to say that sitting in this chair wearing this headset, my hair will just never be as good as his. Man.
You can say that about every guest you've ever had.
Well, that's
true.
I mean, but I felt legitimately bad that our headset was pressing his hair down, and I was like, man, I'll just never have that.
But, but as soon as he took the headset off, it just went boing.
I know. All right, we can go to break.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. We'll come back and wrap up the show, get you ready for Washington State here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back to the show. I have no idea what we're laughing at. We're in the break, and we're talking about who's got more hair, who's, the headset.
I am so glad that you had your headset on when Jorgie and I just said that.
I have no idea. Oh, well, everybody in the room laughed. So, Philip said it.
Yeah.
Hey, give me the flag so I can throw it at you. Okay, all right. Now, Philip said what?
Well, I cannot repeat it on the air. Don't hit the monitor.
You deserve it.
Washington State. It's gonna be a good game.
What about them?
I don't know. You've done more prep on them than I have.
No. Washington State is one of the most defensive-minded, if you want to say it, football teams Oregon's played in a long time. They're giving up less than 90 yards on the ground. They're throwing the ball around almost as much as they used to, more passing than running. But it's always tough going to the Palouse. Always tough playing at Washington State because their fans are like Oregon fans. They love their team.
Yeah, I mean, they are. They're playing great defense, and they're not scoring a ton of points. I mean, they struggled a little bit at home with Idaho. They didn't score a ton of points at Wisconsin, but you figured it'd be that type of game. Go on the road, get a victory. It doesn't matter what you do from a point standpoint. And then last week with Colorado State, they were a little better offensively. But, man, I'll tell you what, they do some wild things on defense, and they always have. They've always brought stunts and blitzes and things that if you catch them, you can gash them. But they can make you look really silly in certain situations, and people have to, you got to be ready for that. You got to be ready from time to time. You're going to be behind the chains, and it's just the way it is. And you may not get ahead of the chains. You punt it away, you play defense, and get it back. So I think it's going to be a fun game, and it's a fun place to go to at this time of year. I think it's going to be beautiful out there.
I think this is a game where takeaways are even more important than any given week. Coach Lanning talks all the time about how explosive plays and takeaways are what you're looking for to win a football game. I feel like these are two teams that really pride themselves on taking the ball away. I think that's the key. That's the key every week, but I think it's more of a key this week with these two teams in particular.
Bo Nix said as much. You can't kill yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
No doubt.
With a team like this, they've taken the ball away. They tackles for loss, sacks. It's going to be an interesting ball game. 11 a.m. pregame show, 1 o'clock kickoff. Kind of an odd time. We haven't had a 1 p.m. kickoff in a long time.
They always have really good donuts in the morning.
Oh, and chili for lunch. Okay, we're talking about food. We got to get out of here. Thanks for being with us for the Coaches Show tonight. Jerry Jorge. Jerry, no, Joey,
can't eat the chili.
Oh, my God bless.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.